This episode is brought to you by Kiln, a modern workspace designed for creators, entrepreneurs, and businesses who want to thrive in community. At Kiln, you'll find flexible offices, meeting rooms, and all the resources you need to fuel your work and connect with others. I love that they've built spaces with intention, places that help ideas grow. To learn more and find a location near you, go to kiln.com. Before we get started, I got to give a little shout out to Hafty. Hafty is the perfect layering shirt for women. It adds a sleeve and a neckline to all of your sleeveless tops, dresses, and jumpers, and allows you to wear all of today's fashions without all the extra bulk and heat, but you get to do it modestly. So I've actually got one on. This is our brand new ruche sleeve, cuts off right here. It is perfect for this maxi dress and just gives me a more modest coverage, but it also lets me extend my wardrobe all year round. Go ahead and use Her Layered Life to save 15% off your first purchase. Go check us out at hafty.com. Welcome to Her Layered Life, the podcast where we peel back the layers of faith, family, and business, and everything in between. I'm your host, Amanda Barker, mom of 8, wife, high school basketball coach, entrepreneur, and believer that every season of life brings its own beauty and lessons. Each week, we dive into real conversations with women who are living out their own layered stories, the challenges, the wins, the faith, the laughter that keeps us going. My hope is that you'll leave each episode feeling inspired to embrace your layers and live them fully. Today, welcome to our Layered Life. Today, we're diving into travel, into design, entrepreneurship with Mel Fransen. She's the founder of Tobiq, a company that's reimagining the duffel bag. What started as a simple idea to solve a problem of packing has grown into a brand that blends style, practicality, and adventure. And it's a perfect example of women supporting women in business. Mel, I'm so excited.
Thank you for having me. You're just the best, Amanda. Thanks so much.
You're sweet. You're sweet. You're sweet. So super if you guys have followed me at all during our Spain adventure, taking Cody over to Spain for her little au pair adventure, you saw the mini bag. Is that what you called the little satchel? I keep calling it a satchel.
The little flip bag.
Oh yeah,
we have a little flip bag. It's so cute. It is. You wore it so well.
You hand it to me, Princess. It's seriously so stinking cute. I did get 2 of them, and this was the one I decided. I did do a poll, but it is so hammered. I wish you could see like how dirty I spelled Coke on it. But
did you know you can just toss it in the wash?
Yes.
Too.
Yeah.
Like
yes.
That's an option. Okay.
Yes, I will. I will toss it in the wash. But it started
once you finally sleep and recover, and then unpack. You can just toss that baby in the wash.
I'm going to put it in the colors for sure. But then I also traveled with your Tobiq roller bag. And that is sweet. All I took. I took that and my backpack for my books. And I literally traveled the world with those 2 things.
I'm so proud of you. I'm sure it was amazing. Just kind of following your journey was so exciting for me because I love it when I see our products like in this beautiful space where you're helping your daughter transition and you're making memories at the same time. And it's just very sweet. Thank you so much for making us part of your journey.
Well, it was so stinking fun. It really was. And it was so like, it wasn't like I was trying to use something that I absolutely wouldn't have used, normally. And I was like making this big deal out of fake news, right? I mean, it literally was. So many people of my followers were like, oh my gosh, I have to get that because it really, the bag, especially the bag, the duffel, the satchel was amazing too. But the bag itself, like the pockets, and we'll go over all of that, but it really wasn't fake. I loved it. It was the best.
I'm so grateful. Thank you so much. I really do feel like we need more women in design because I think we think outside the box. We see things differently. We pack for our people most often. And I know that we have those ideas or those bursts of inspiration while we're in the process of just taking care of our humans. So that's pretty much where the bag came from in the first place. And I'm glad that other people have found, seriously, I'm glad that other people, not just women, but like all over many different special interests have found our bags super useful and stylish. So
they're so stinking cute. So let's get started. Let's get started with the story. I want to know, why did you choose travel bags specifically? So really, like a little backstory, really quick. I met Mel at Female Founders Only. In fact, the next probably 50% of the podcasts are going to be with these women that I met in Glacier, because I told everyone kind of the first two podcasts that trip really did change the way I approached how I wanted to do business, right? And so the B2B collaborations really was born after that, just that whole weekend. So Mel was there at Glacier.
You were on fire, Amanda. I loved hearing your ideas afterwards. It was so cool to just listen to you debrief, after that experience and where your creative energy was focused. I thought it was just brilliant. So thanks for making me part of it.
Well, you're very, very welcome. So why travel bags specifically? And what need did you see that inspired Tobiq?
Such a great question. So when I was, rewind, travel with me through time back to 2016.
Perfect.
My husband was in the tail end of his residency program. He's an oncologist. And I was honestly just like keeping my head above the water. I had 4 super young kids and we were just buried in student debt, incredibly overwhelmed, had no idea where our life was headed. We could have gotten a job anywhere. And the only time I felt really at peace and happy was when I was outside with my family. I love the outdoors and I love getting outside with my kids. And so we went crazy and bought a 1991 pop-up tent trailer, which was all we could afford really,
right.
And probably the worst idea ever. But I thought it was gonna be just this amazing family experience because we'd pack all the kids and all the things in and we'd visit all the national parks that we could on the weekends. And, we had no money to do any other kind of travel. And so that's what we did. And I learned very quickly that bringing 4 young humans in a pop-up tent trailer is not like the Zen experience I had initially imagined it to be. And I had, I was in charge
I'm just laughing because we had our own pop-up tent. Like we just, we just did.
Okay.
Yeah. It was welded onto a back of a 30-foot trailer. Okay. So it was like the trailer sat here, our pop-up was welded, and my husband thought he had scored massive because now we could load up our machines, right? And we could do all of these fun things. And he called his bougie friend, is like, bro, I got a toy hauler. And so his bougie friend's coming over, thing is this white bougie trailer. And it's actually a pop-up trailer welded onto a 30-foot machine trailer. Anyways, so in my brain.
Yes, we basically had to wipe down the molds inside of it when we purchased it for the first time. I was like, it's going to be fine. I'm sure it's going to be fine. Clorox fixes that, right? So anyway, we ended up doing a few little trips, and I learned real quickly it's really hard. It was really hard. And one fateful night in Bryce Canyon where my baby just would not stop wailing in the middle of the night, I was searching for her binky. I just couldn't find it. It's dark. I didn't want to wake everybody else up, like all the other campers. I'm sure we're waking everybody up anyway. I don't know. But I was so frustrated that I couldn't find that one tiny item. And so I laid there just nursing her all night long, just trying to keep her calm and just in my awake state. I was like, why isn't there a bag that's like the essential dresser on the go? I just need my kid's dresser.
Yes.
I needed a dresser on the go that could organize and compartmentalize all their tiny little things, whether it's, diapers and wipes, the binky, their clothing items, and each kid would have a pocket. So I sat there imagining this product, and I went home and I'm like, okay, I'm going to find it. There's bags for everything, like baseball, hockey, soccer, football, like there's bags built for everything. But I was shocked that there really literally was not like a compartmentalized dresser on the go, like duffel bag, So I just started getting creative and I started drawing. And over the next 4 years, I wrote a patent. I figured out what, back in the day, I actually did policy work. And so I loved writing. It was just part of the process for me. But and I started to figure out like what a tech pack was, and then called someone who knew someone who worked in the luggage manufacturing industry, and started sending my tech pack out and trying to connect with people, with factories, and eventually found a really great fit with a like local small sample factory in Vietnam. And we had the first prototype made in 2019. And then in the end of 2019, I spent my husband's signing bonus on like 500 duffel bags, 500 Tobiq duffel bags that were
So
this
which one was the
multi-compartment.
first one? Like, which one was your first?
First one was a just plain black bag.
Okay.
So if you've ever made anything in the luggage industry, and like you can see, black is just what everybody's comfortable with.
Sure.
And I think the lowest barrier to entry as far as price goes.
Okay.
And so it was just a plain black bag. It had backpack straps that, could tuck in their little pocket when you don't need them and clip them on when you do, multiple ways to carry. It was like everything design wise that I had dreamt of, except for like the color. Honestly, for me, when I imagined this bag, I was like, oh, it'd be like color coded pockets. So you could say, Erin, you're in the orange, Vera, you're in the yellow, JJ, David,
Yeah.
And I just also thought it was super cute. But we spent all of his money on the duffel bags, and 2020 launched online sales. And 2 weeks later, like the world shut down with COVID for travel. So anyway, it was a little bit of a rough start. I'm not going to lie. Not just with, trying to sell travel bags during COVID, but also a month later, my husband had a heart attack. And so, it was wild. He's incredibly healthy. We love mountain biking. He had just set a PR on his favorite trail here in Grand Junction, and was telling me all about it, and just dropped unconscious next to me. So I did CPR for 11 minutes, pulled that from somewhere in my, memory, in my faith, in my moment with God. And he was in a hypothermic coma for 3 days and woke up 3 days later, just fine, bragging about the PR that he had made, his Strava personal record that he had set the night he had his heart attack. So, more than just it was like physically, we had tons of questions. It was a really difficult year that followed, but it also helped us realign a lot of our values and our priorities, even and especially with business. We had this kind of side project that I was working on, and he couldn't do all of the normal, like physically active things that he had done before his heart attack because of medications and question marks and all of that stuff. So we really leaned hard into developing the business. We went and retrieved all of our inventory from this warehouse in Denver when it shut down during COVID, and brought it into the basement. This is the basement. And we had our kids start helping us fill orders. And honestly, just set up shop, like homegrown family business shop here in Grand Junction, from 2020 all the way until we kind of outgrew the space and found a fulfillment center that could help us grow. So
that's so stinking cool. What a cool story. So, it's always fascinating companies that was 2020, even though travel shut down, which was probably extremely depressing, right? But I would assume you're like, oh, great timing, Lord. But I would assume there is still one, e-commerce was still popping off right during 2020. That was a huge blessing for e-commerce. Some of us, but then even the family travel, that was still something that you could still do. Hop in the car and go on a drive and go camping and do all of that sort of thing. Totally. Right. So do you feel like 2020 actually like accelerated that growth because of the conditions?
Oh man, it is so hard to know because that's when we launched. And so I don't have any standard for comparison. But we were profitable, So I think in 2020, in spite of all that was up against us, we weren't in the red at the end of the year. We had sold a ton of bags, and it continued us to just continue folding in all of our profits into new inventory, diving into colorways and just development, bit by bit by bit. So yeah, I think it's hard to say whether or not 2020 would have turned out differently, but I will say that as far as like my personal perspective on business and the purpose of what we were doing, the heartbeat behind what our company is about, it really was improved because of bringing it back home, really focusing on like nothing else mattered, right? Like after my husband had a heart attack, it was this just huge reality check that like, if this business fails or it flies, like honestly, we're making memories outside together, and I'm taking videos of our family doing it, and we're going to keep traveling together because that's really where I want to be. Like that's where I want to be with my people, and it really helps all of our memories stick, Right. It's like that one time we were this place and this happened, and it's usually experiencing new things with my kids is my favorite thing about life. Just like bringing them places, helping them have this beautiful cultural experience. It just gets, I think, everybody in this zoomed out lens moment where we see ourselves differently. We understand the world a little bit better, and perhaps helps us grow just in our family bonds and our connections to one another. So I think that whether or not we would have been like better off if COVID hadn't happened with the travel bag company, I think in the end, I see that it was honestly the best thing that could have happened for our business, just because we then approached it from a more, heart focused, memory making perspective.
Right. So the zoom out perspective became very zoomed in on why and where and how you wanted to move forward.
Yeah. It was just kind of like, you know what? We have 500 black bags that are really amazing. I hope other people like them. And if they don't, I'm sure eventually we'll sell them, but we at least get to take really cool pictures and really cool places as we,
yes,
load up our family and keep camping. Yeah. Right? So, yeah.
That's awesome.
Totally.
I'm thinking about it was probably Coop's 15 and we left her. So probably 15 years ago, Tyler and I sat down and we're like, I am so over traditional Christmas, right? I'm so over presents that the kids don't ever use. I'm so over spending all this money when there's no sticking the memory to the Christmas or to a present. So we decided consciously for Christmas, the kids woke up and we took them on, and it was a ghetto cruise. I mean, we're talking low bar was set, but we took them on a cruise, and they just thought they had died and gone to heaven. And after that experience, it was like I can't remember. We went to like Catalina Island down somewhere in Mexico, and it was like 4 days out of California. It was fine. The pool didn't work. The only thing that worked was the hot tub. The kids wouldn't get in the pool because it was cold. They have like kids club, which I thought was so cool because we had like 5 kids under 8, right? So we're like, ooh, a kids club, that might be fun. They called it kids prison. They hated it, but overall, the experience itself was just so much better than unwrapping presents for 5 minutes, right? And the stress of gathering the presents for all those kids. So, and purchasing them. So since then, we really have done similar things with Christmas time specifically, where we go on an adventure, we go on a trip, and we make memories through experiences. And that, I love that so much. It really has made a huge impact on our family as well.
Totally. We lean hard into that, like in the gift of experiences. And perhaps one of my favorite ones recently was last year we gifted my parents and Johnny's parents, my husband's parents, a trip with us. It was like, hey, this is our gift to you. Yay, you get to travel with us. And we'll plan everything. And honestly, for my parents, they don't understand VRBO, Airbnb world. You know, it's a different way of traveling than they've ever traveled. And so it was so much fun to talk with. And in fact, we took my mom and dad to Canada, back to Canada where my mom's from, and all the way to Newfoundland, which is like the furthest east you can go in North America, because my mom's from that region, but she had never been to Newfoundland. And we were able to rent like these tiny, gorgeous, like seaside cottages, and being able to just take them there and have them all to ourselves. Like, you know, our kids were the only grandkids that got their attention. It was honestly such a gift. Like, I will never forget those memories. And especially, we're all getting older, you know, like my kids are growing into different stages and my parents are too. And I just thought we need to do these things with the people that we cherish, have these memories, these photos that we can always look back on, and just be so grateful that we took the time out to do that. So
that is
anyway,
awesome.
that was one of my most favorite recent.
That's very, very cool. I love incorporating the grandparents. That's very, very cool.
I just want to take a second and talk about my lashes right there. I love these DIY lashes. Do them at home. I just think they're so perfect for busy moms. Guys, I'm in photo shoots and podcasts now, all the things, and these lashes really help me get ready so much faster and just really elevate my look. If you want to save a little money, my code is Amanda B. I seriously think you should check them out. I literally love them a ton.
Okay, let's go to the name and identity. Names carry so much meaning in business. They set the tone, they create this identity. So how did you land on the name Tobiq, and what does it represent to you personally as a brand?
Yes. I love so much that you say it Tobiq, because I say it Tobiq, and it's potato because, and this happens all the time. The name actually is where my mom is from in Eastern Canada. She's from the Tobiq River Valley. But if you speak French and you're just, a little more bougie like that, you say it Tobiq, and it works beautifully because yes. So pat on your back. I'm the one that says a little bit more redneck, and that's totally fine too. But yeah, the French
because you're from Spanish Fork and I'm from Wyoming, and we all know.
There you go. But the French speakers say it Tobiq. And essentially, when we were trying to find a name for this bag, our inspiration was family travel. That's where the story began for our duffel bags. And I just kept thinking, what has a really strong feel, a really strong sound that also honors that family travel vibe? And for me, it was just a very personal thing. We had traveled back to see my mom's family every summer when I was a teeny tiny human, and she had multiple kids in tow, and I don't even know what luggage she carried, but like so many different airport transfers to get all the way to Maine, and then to drive through the border with her entire crew to up into the Tobiq River Valley, where she grew up on a potato farm up there. And so the name comes from our.
So wait, I have to know, how did your parents meet? Because if she's from freaking clear up in Canada, your dad's from Spanish Fork, right? So this is kind of a crazy little story. Mel and I put together finally, because Mel's dad runs a
feed mill.
A feed mill. So he produces grain feed for animals.
England Milling Company in Spanish Fork. It's still alive and well, and they're amazing. So go check it out.
Still kicking it. Well, I was like, wait, your dad runs a feed mill? Like, I
Yes.
bet you $100 your dad has been to our ranch and filled up all of our,
Yeah. All the bins.
whatever.
All the bins.
Yeah, all the bins with feed in it. And Mel ended up calling her dad and it's like, hey, do you know
Totally.
Rule Barker? And her dad's like, yeah, I don't really. Anyway, so we had this little connection with my father-in-law and Mel's dad doing business in the agricultural business. But I just want to go back to, how did your parents meet? Not that that has anything to do with any of this, but I'm curious.
It's actually so sweet. And I love that you asked. So my dad served an LDS mission in Eastern Canada. So he was called to,
Okay.
Yep, he was called to the Halifax, Nova Scotia mission. And my mom's sister had been baptized and she wanted to take the discussions. And my dad actually taught her the gospel of Jesus Christ. And she and my dad, this is actually a very sweet story. She and my dad, like, it's just very, very platonic, but also like recognized like, hey, this is a cool human and this is a cool human, and my mom's like, well, I'm going to go to this college that's a church college, BYU. You finish out your mission. They wrote letters. And my dad actually finished his mission in Newfoundland. So they sent him like the furthest away he could possibly go in North America. And they wrote back and forth from Newfoundland to Utah. And when my dad came home, they found each other pretty quickly and they were married. So
how cool. That's a cute story.
Yes. But my mom like loves her family, still like missed her family. And so as my dad was running the feed mill, which is, in the summertime, crazy harvest time, grain trucks, like very, very busy, long hours. When I was too little to help at the mill, I was traveling to Canada with my mom because my mom was like, peace out. I'm going to go visit my family while you work endless hours at the feed mill. And so she took all of us back. And when I was old enough, I actually then ran the scales at Leland Milling Company from like 11 years old on until I graduated from high school. So, yeah.
So cool.
Very sweet love story.
Leland Mills is a family-owned business, correct?
Totally. Yep.
Yeah. So entrepreneur spirit already kind of born and raised in your little DNA.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I think I probably took it for granted when I was a teenager, how important that was to me, like how meaningful that piece of my identity had like become ingrained in me, how much I loved working and how work connected me with new people and purpose. And once I went to college, I realized real quickly, I just like having a job. I like figuring out the puzzles at work and how having a job, having a business really connects you with people you otherwise wouldn't get to know. So yeah, it definitely is part of who I am and probably what drives my my work spirit, I guess.
Yeah. And your work ethic, honestly, the work ethic behind it. That's cool. Okay. Totally. So let's go into like style meets functionality, which honestly is very hard to do both, right? A lot of times if it's practical, it's not very pretty. And if it's pretty, it's not very practical.
Listen, I've worn a lot of impractical things in my life. I've worn a lot of shoes that I'm like, why did I do that? But they're so cute, it's just like, why would I do that? But yeah, I'm doing it. I think the design of our bag came from a place of need. It was just this, I needed a dresser on the go. Why doesn't something exist that thought about caregivers, or that thought about athletes who like to organize, like, okay, you've got your helmets, your gloves, your, cycling stuff in one pocket, your change of clothes in another, your toiletries in another, and like all your nutrition happening in another pocket. It's just like, we have to have something that is like the perfect road trip bag, whether we're a busy parent or a busy athlete or a busy professional that is multitasking and juggling a ton of things on the go. So I wanted it to be that dresser on the go idea. Inside every pocket, there's a couple bungees and a long zipper pocket. And, I thought that's got to be in the design. That because if you're organized,
can you pull one of your bags from behind you and show everybody? Yeah, I think it's important to show everybody.
Yeah, I should have thought about that. This is our Hawaii bag. It's like one of my favorite.
I love that bag. It's so cute.
Cute. This one was released this year. So this is the 60-liter duffel. It's the deepest duffel that we have. A lot of the power comes with like how deep these pockets are. So you can seriously, like, grandma weekender bag. I still, even though my kids are like teenagers, put one kid in each pocket, because all they really need is, some undies and a change of clothes or two. So anyway, each one of the pockets has this long zipper pocket. So I'm like, kids, put your toiletries right here, and then your undies and your socks go right here and right here. And then they just roll up their clothes right there. And then we've got multiple ways to carry. So this hand grab straps, these backpack straps that pop out when you want them, and when you don't want them, you can just unclip and tuck them right back inside. I've gotten really good at like one-handed.
That was really good. I'm actually very impressed.
Thank you. But another really fun thing about our products, though, like, obviously I love color. I think that I love neutral too, but honestly, you can see your bags when they're colorful. You know which ones.
I knew exactly when my bag was coming out of the.
Yes.
Like, it was so easy to get my luggage.
Yes.
So easy.
So I honestly like applied, like, okay, when I was designing them the first time, I was like, we got to have some kind of like ombre feel to some of these bags. We got to have themes like based on places we go, like, and inspired by the colors of the places we've visited. So our bags are literally named after places. So this is our Colorado bag, I mean, this is where our company started. It was our first colorful bag that we came out with, and it's still one of our best sellers. So anyway, it's been fun to use color as like just an expression and a feeling of happiness, and also maybe like honoring a place where we've been and traveled and been inspired by. So
that's cool.
Yeah,
that's incredible. I love color too. I try all the time to be like, okay, you're getting older. It's time to be a little more classic. And I can't do it. I want the color. I want the pop. I want the stripes. I want all of this stuff.
I think the older I get, the more I'm just like, I don't even care. Like, I just want to wear what makes me happy, So I usually choose things based on how I feel when I'm wearing them. And if it's a little funky and colorful, I'm just kind of like, you know what? I guess I am kind of funky and colorful, and that's okay.
I love it. I love it.
So, yeah.
Do you think women approach product design differently? So we've talked about that absolutely. Because the top two reasons why women buy certain things. The first reason is comfort. We want to be comfortable, right? And the second reason is practicality. Does it solve a problem, right? And so we talked about earlier how important it is for women to be in product design, because we really are the problem solvers, right? We really are the ones that are in the trailer nursing a baby because now I can't find the pacifier. And we're the ones packing the bags. We're the ones, really doing all those little things. So I love the idea of more women in design, because we're the ones problem solving and trying to get Ziplocs that fit perfect and, things like that. So
absolutely.
What were your thoughts on that?
So many thoughts. Honestly, a lot of my thoughts were like, oh, wow, how much does she want to know about all of the people I've worked with along this road who were like, why do you want to do that? And a lot of them were guys who just didn't see the vision behind the product. In fact, our newest release. So one cool thing about, I think, something that's really cool about our company is we have so many customers that have given us feedback through the years that we've listened to. I've loved reading our reviews. We've got thousands of 5-star reviews, and a lot of the ones that are 2-star, 1-star have also been super helpful. It's like, okay, what didn't work here? What makes, so I love listening to the people who are purchasing our products. A lot of them are women. And so I learn from that. And then I take that feedback and I bring it to my teams in Vietnam. We work with Blue Sign Factory over there, who is amazing. They are super, super on it, respectful, have like they have everything together. And I have so much respect for the handmade, like it's handmade. It's like, I've met them multiple times. I'm actually going to Vietnam in just a few weeks. I'm bringing my oldest son with me to do another development.
How fun.
It's just such a full circle experience to meet the people who are creating our products, who are behind them, and work as a creator with their sewing teams to make it just right, you know? So this bag that we recently released, so we have lots of different sizes. I showed you our 60-liter bag. That's like our big, like our best road trip duffel. And we kept innovating. Like we came out with a 45-liter, like perfect athletic gear bag that has all of these like zipper pockets and a stinky stuff pocket that can extend or distend and fit giant pads and helmets and things. Anyway, we've innovated a lot. And when I was working on, this is our like European perfect personal item, because as you'll know, like European travel standards, like for personal items, are even smaller. So we made our baby bag, that's a diaper bag, in like European travel standards. And I had a very specific design for this panel that I wanted to make happen. And when I took it to one of the designers, who was supposedly trying to help me with the product, it was a very odd experience, but not surprising, because I'd given him all my notes, I'd shared everything with him, and then I came back to work with him the next day, and he had done something completely different. He's like, I think it needs this, I think it needs this, you know. And honestly, like as a woman in the luggage industry, you have to advocate for the people that you represent. You have to advocate for the experiences that you have had as you have traveled with your people, whatever that looks like, whether or not you have a family, you know, because you see things differently, you understand travel differently because your experiences are different. So it's been revealing, like, you know what, this just needs to happen more, because it's not happening enough. Like people who are actually making these products aren't used to women's ideas. Like they're not used to how the priorities that we come to the table with when it comes with product design. So I'm not sure if that gives you too much context on why, yes, I believe we need more women in design, but absolutely.
Yes. It makes me think, you know, oftentimes throughout the 16 years we've been in business with Half Team, you know, starting new manufacturing facilities, we take samples in and we get back these graded samples, right? Where they go into an industry standard grading system. And even though I said, listen, you have a size run here, I don't want you to start with the extra small and grade up. It won't work. Women, we're not tense. We're not proportionally built the way you think we are. Yeah. We've spent a lot of time like perfecting the fit of a half T, right? And that we don't get, as we get larger, we don't grow in our shoulders and everything gapes already. So I get and every time they send it back and I show it on and it fits like it's like hanging on people. It's not fitted and tight, and not even tight, but comfortable. And they're like, oh, you were right. I said, yeah, I know. I was right.
And listen, this is also why, and I think this is why I love what you're doing here. It's also why we need to talk with other women who have businesses to just have that, like, oh, I'm not crazy, like feeling like, wow, yeah. I really felt strongly about, the placement of this zipper, but like, I'm not, like, sometimes you don't know whether or not you're the only one that thinks that way until you speak with somebody else who's had similar experiences in product design. Yes. And you realize, like, you know what, it actually is just that maybe the people we're talking to aren't used to women's ideas and proportions. Yes. And priorities. And so I love that
practicality.
Yeah.
Yes, it's so true. And it's problem solving. It's not about what's the easiest to produce. It's about what's the most practical way to produce it, right? Well, actually, a lot of times they're just trying to cut out, little pieces, but that's not what it's about. It reminds me too of when we put in our swimming pool. We have this giant yard. It's a flag lot, and we have this side yard. And when we put in our swimming pool, every contract came over and said, headed straight to the side yard. I said, we're not putting it on the side yard. And they said, well, that's the easiest, most practical place to put it. It'll be so easy over there. And I said, I don't want to go out to my pool. I want my pool to be part of my house. I want it out my back door. And they're like, you want us to do we're going to have to crane it over your house and la, 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 la. And I said, I know, but I don't, this is how I need it to be in order for it to function well for my family, that it just becomes another part of my house. And still to this day, I think about it all the time. What if I would have allowed them to talk me into putting it into the place a man would put it, right? Because it was so much simpler, more practical. But because I knew as a woman intuitively how I needed this space to be for my family and for me to be able to parent it, watch it, make sure they were safe. You're coming in and out. Anyways, it's a very similar experience when that happened too, with all the pushback that I got from men. And I was like, it's not about that.
Sometimes it's hard to believe in yourself. Like sometimes it's hard to have confidence in your own voice. Especially as I didn't go to business school, this is not what I signed up for. Actually, my master's degree is in nonprofit administration. So it's like I'm navigating this world that I'm really unfamiliar with. I do have confidence in my product. I know it's a great product, but when the rubber hits the road and you have to make decisions and you've got a bunch of pushback, it is so important to have a community of people to bounce your ideas off of, to get feedback from. And I found that in my customers, honestly, so much. It's been so encouraging to find that in our customers, and also recently with other female entrepreneurs. It's just like, oh my gosh, why wasn't I having these conversations before? I'm so grateful that now I've got a community of people who understand where I'm coming from and just be like, yeah, you can do this. You got this. You're going to be fine. So anyway.
Right. That's so cool.
Yes.
That's so cool.
It's beautiful. Look what you did.
Oh, yes.
This beautiful little layer. I just love it so much. You've done such a great job.
Thank you. All right. So let's, there's a part of this that is so important to me, because in these B2B collaborations, in these podcasts, one of the most important pieces that I want to continue to bring up as often as possible is how important it is that we as women support one another, in our efforts, business to business, of course, and we get out of that competitive space and we get into more of a creative space where we're not competing for customers, we're not competing for sales. And if we work together, we actually create significantly more opportunities for all of us, right? And that's really at the core of why B2B collaborations are so important to me. But even further than that is educating our customer base and educating our listeners, which I would assume will mostly be women, right? Of how to be more intentional and heartfelt when it comes to how they spend their dollars. Because at this point, 80% of purchases are made by women. Consumable purchases are actually made by women, 80% of them. But only 2% of those purchases and those dollars are actually being spent on women-owned businesses. And so a lot of this too is bringing about awareness for our customers and for women, and to create a movement of one, bringing out who are women-owned businesses. Where are they? What are they? And recognizing that there's a lot of women-owned businesses that we know nothing about, and educating that way, but then also reminding women to be more intentional, more heartfelt in purchasing and spending their dollars with women. One of those things that I think is so powerful when you do support women-owned companies, you're not just supporting the woman, their family, but you're supporting communities, because most likely, I don't know if I've met any woman-owned business CEO founder that is not out in the community. We talked about it before we even pushed play, right? Of the time you're spending right now. There's a temple dedication in your community that is it requires a humongous effort on the church community itself, right? A ton of volunteer hours. But also there's charities, there's causes that when you support a woman-owned company, I promise you, you are supporting the community and the causes that drive her. Are there causes, are there charities, are there things that you and Tobiq are involved in to help grow your community? Answer.
Yes, thank you so much for asking. Honestly, we don't talk about this a lot, but maybe we should more. One thing that from the very beginning we have always been committed to is donating a portion of our products to individuals who are traveling from rural areas to receive cancer treatments.
Oh,
So it's our cancer travel fund. Something we love is our community. We live in a more rural community in Grand Junction, Colorado. And my husband is a radiation oncologist, and he treats people from all over Western Colorado. And they often are driving hours and hours. They don't have any funding to help with their gas and their lodging and their childcare while they're in treatment. It's not something that insurance covers. And so the social workers at his hospital and our neighboring hospital have created these funds that we donate to with that they field all of the patients who are needing assistance with all of their travel needs and help them cover those costs.
that's incredible.
Because that can be just it's a burden to care. It really is so sad. There are so many people who just put off their own healthcare, their own cancer treatments because they have no funding for their travel. And so
Right.
all of the things that they are doing, all the things that we're doing are trying to help alleviate those burdens to care.
That's incredible. That's incredible. I knew it. I knew you would have a really good charity.
You're so sweet.
That's awesome.
Honestly, but like from the beginning, it was something that I was like, we got to integrate these pieces. Johnny, you're a doctor, and like whatever we're doing with business stuff, I want it to make sense from our family's perspective too. Sorry, my dog is getting in the mix here.
Puppy.
Another thing one other thing we love doing that's a little more practical is we have a lifetime warranty on all of our bags. And so when and if we have issues that are manufacturer defects with zippers or seams, if something happens that is outside of the norm, they send it back to us. We replace their bag and then we fix that bag. We've got some incredibly talented seamstresses in our area and we donate them to foster care. So
how cool.
we give those bags to our local networks for kids who are in the foster care circuit.
That's incredible. I knew it. I knew it would be so good. So good. So that's just kind of proof in the pudding, right? It's just so important for women ourselves to be supporting small and to be supporting women-owned businesses. Because like we've talked about, so often you are not just supporting the woman and the business, but you are supporting so many awesome things that you had no idea you were even doing. So that's so stinking cool. So we talked a lot about experiences and how important it is to experience life with people that you love, right? And I think that kind of encompasses Tobiq and you, and that travel and nature and all of these things are so powerful when it comes to creating even, and the importance of women being in the creative space and the design space so that we can be creating the dressers to be on the move and to be on the go. And we can have, instead of 17 Ziploc bags of all different sizes, which is, right. We used to pack, we don't have to pack like that anymore. But, taking all those learning experiences through our soul desires, which for you was to get out and to travel with your family and to experience life with your family. But that really turned into a duffel bag. That is changing the way people can travel, changing really women's lives and just helping so much when it comes to that space, which I will say from significant amounts of experience packing kids, packing 8 little people, right? And it was always one of my favorite things, like huge milestone, potty training, driving, and when my kids could pack their own bag for travel. Those were 3 massive milestones because it did, decrease so much stress. But is there any advice that you would give women that you kind of want to leave with?
I think you should trust your gut. Honestly, you know yourself and you know your family, you know your people better than anybody. And if you are looking for a business opportunity, to a way to get into business, if you have an idea that you feel like can make a difference, you should go with it. Like, don't let anything hold you back from just, even like at nap times after bedtime, just start connecting with people, start emailing. My goal in the beginning was just make one new contact every day. Just like send one new email every day, and try to figure out this world that I felt like I had a gut feeling was a good idea, that a product that could serve people in a different way. So trust your gut, go with it, and just build your idea, build your creative energy one day at a time.
I love it. I love it. All right, to wrap up, I've been doing this with every one of my wonderful women that have come on, but I want to do a what would you rather, right? Would you rather? No, would you rather?
Would you rather?
It's my own game, and I don't even know the. Anyways, would you rather? My husband does it with us all the time. I've got specific questions. I don't read the questions. I have Bailey do them for me because I love being surprised, because I think it's part of the adventure. But so we're gonna go through would you rather. Would you rather always overpack or always underpack?
Always underpack, because you can then buy whatever, if you're like, oh shoot, I probably should have gotten a rain jacket, and then you get a new rain jacket when you're on your trip.
You're right. Always underpack. That's perfect. It's perfect. Okay.
True.
Would you rather visit a new country every year or return to your favorite country every year?
New country. I like seeing new places. There's so many cool places to go.
Yeah, I agree. I think you could have a new favorite every year if you kept working on it. Okay. Would you rather only travel in summer or only travel in winter?
I think winter, because if you're traveling in winter, then you can travel to tropical areas and get a little burst of sunshine in the middle. Yes.
You're right.
Summer, so travel in the winter, because then you can target areas of the globe that are warm and that you really are just needing a little vitamin D.
Okay,
so
I love it. I
think.
agree. You changed my mind. I think I was going to say summer, but I changed my mind. I think it's definitely smarter to go winter. Okay, would you rather only be able to whisper or only? I know what you're going to say to this. Would you rather be able to whisper or would you rather be able to shout?
Shout only, probably. I think.
Love it.
That was a hard one.
I would say shout too. Whispering would just be annoying.
It would.
Would you rather only be able to watch the same movie for the rest of your life or only be able to listen to the same song? That's hard. I'm trying to decide.
I think same song. Music for me is just like memories. They just like capture things. Oh gosh. I Will Survive by Aretha Franklin.
I love it.
That's my song. My karaoke anthem over and over again.
And over. That's actually a really good anthem for all women entrepreneurs, honestly. Would you rather never have to do laundry again or never have to cook again?
Oh, never have to do laundry again. Laundry is the worst.
It's the worst. I really don't like to cook either. That is a hard one for me too.
But when I'm cooking, people come talk to me. So it's like, It's like they want to know what I'm doing. They're interested in, sampling. And so, but when I'm laundry, nobody wants to be around the laundry.
Mom's folding laundry. Get the heck out of Dodge.
Yes.
Okay, last one. Would you rather only be able? Oh no, we already did that one. Okay, never mind. She did two of the. Would you rather be able to whisper? Or would you rather be able to shout? So we're totally great. Anyways, thank you. I'm going to do a little wrap up really quick. Mel, thank you so much for sharing your journey. and giving us just a little peek into Tobiq. I love so much you. I love your passion. I love your genuine kindness and love for just people around you, and just your personal passion that you've turned into something that is inspires and serves travelers and your community. So many people are being blessed because of what you've chosen to do. And then for everyone else, check out Tobiq bags online, social media. They're all there. We'll make sure to link them in the notes. And remember, part of laying her life is embracing adventure, is embracing supporting women wherever we can and letting our choices ripple out in a positive way. So until next time, keep saying yes. Keep saying yes to the layers that make you and love every layer of your life. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Mwah. Thank you, Mel.
Thank you. Bye.
So real quick, stand up. We're going to do a little outfit of the day. Just show everyone what you have styled today.
Woo. Shoot, do we have enough room to see?
I don't know. Maybe.
Can we?
Just going to back it up. Ooh, cute. That looks so cute. I love it.
And then I got my cute brown jeans. Got these from the boutique.
So cute. All right. Well, I'm wearing an elbow half tee. I've actually got a style with a sweater vest. I thought that was kind of cute, but I got overalls on.
You are
so I thought that was kind of cute. I don't have any shoes on.
Always.
No shoes. They're actually
I love it.
Right over there, but it's fine.
I love it. I loved how you did all your show and tell with your thing. I'm like, oh, I didn't even think to share my cute necklaces.
Yes.
Anyway.
I love it.
But
I love it.
Job.
Well, thanks, Mel. Thank you.